This is episode 4 of my conservation of 4-color number 49, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Let's just get to it. Okay, I've shown this in a lot of videos already, or a lot of segments. Basically what I did was I took a little bit of a vapor rust and I put it on each side where the stain is, and then I put blotter paper, and with blotter paper under the page and on top of the page, and then I use the vapor rust container as a weight to hold it down. And we're going to see what that does, and then I'm adding a step that I haven't done, and we're going to see if that helps any. I'm still not a fan of using blue light, but I might. And if I do that, what I will do is just, I'll cut out like a small rectangle just to focus the blue light on that one segment. We'll see. I don't think I'm going to do that, but we'll see. We'll be back in about 4 or 5 hours when I think this is ready for me to take the next step that I'm going to do. Alright, let's take a look. Maybe I got some of it off of there. Now I'm going to do something I don't normally do inside, but I have a door and 2 windows open and my air conditioner running. So maybe I can do this. What we're going to do is I put this in a pan. It's a shallow pan. This is a baking pan, and it's Nordic ware made in the USA. We like that. Now I'm going to take some of this. This is something I don't normally do inside, but like I said, I have the door and 2 windows open and my air conditioner running, so we're just going to splash that on there. Pick up the spill with this paper towel. And I'm going to let that sit in there for, not too long, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes at the most. I'm going to stick that in there so that it has an even. And you know what? I'm going to put more in there. I want to make sure it's covered. Now a lot of people see people use Bestine to remove glue or tape. I'm going to see if I can get it to remove the rest of that stain. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes, and we'll pour that off. I'm going to pour it back in the can. I do reuse this stuff. It can get a little expensive. So be right back, and you won't hardly notice I'm gone. Okay, that's been about 5 minutes. So we're going to pour the Bestine off. I've got my can here. And my funnel, I only use this funnel for Bestine. I've got about 6 funnels, but this is the only one I use for Bestine. And we're just going to pour that right off and back into the can. I have a paper towel here that I will turn the funnel over and let it drain into the paper towel. And I'm going to take these back into my other room. Be right back. Now I do have another can of Bestine. Anytime I open a can, I order another one. So that way I always have them in stock. But I try to, I try to be frugal and reuse it when I can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this more to the center. I don't really want to touch it with my fingers just yet. There we go. And I'm just going to set this off to the side and dry. Let it dry out. Because I have something else I need to do. See, I've got this. It holds 2 cups. I picked it up at Dollar General for like $4 or $5, and it's got a little dirt on the outside. It's okay. And we got the betaine anhydrous betaine premium formula. I don't think that makes any difference. Now, I don't have a tablespoon measurer, but I do have a half a tablespoon. And what I do is I use 1 tablespoon per cup when I do it. And when I figured it out, it came out to 3 teaspoons. Well, 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon. So what I'm going to do is I want to have that level. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've got a calcium hydroxide solution here. Now this is, well, I don't expect you to believe me, so I'll show you. If I can get this thing closed again. I don't know why, but I always have trouble. I have more trouble closing this than I do opening it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dip this in, and then we're going to compare it. Actually, that's about a 12. Excellent. I thought it was 11. And we're going to pour some in. We're going to pour in enough to make 2 cups. So actually I'm going to go a little more than that. I'm going to about 2 1/4. Set that off to the side. And I'll just use the handle of this to stir it up some, because we've got some Now I'm going to stick it in the microwave for 45 seconds, and that should heat it up to about 120, 125 degrees. So I'll be right back. And I'm back. Let's take another measurement of this. See where it sits now. It's at about 11, pH of about 11. So take this, put it off to the side for a second. The wrap is dry. I'll admit I cheated. I had it in front of a fan. And what we're going to do is we're just going to pour this in. Oops. You know what? Let's check the temperature real quick. 147. Okay, that's a little warmer than I expected, but that's alright. It'll cool off real quick. And I do have a piece of Hollytex underneath that. So 147 is a little bit warm, but that's okay. And we are going to leave it in here for a bit. I think I'm going to give it about 10, maybe 15 minutes. And then I'm going to turn it over and give it another 10 or 15 minutes. And the reason I'm going to turn it over and give it a little bit longer is because I don't think it's all the way in like it should be. It's not quite deep enough. And that happens. So we'll be right back. And I'm back. And what we're going to do is we're going to take another piece of Kollecting and put it down over, because I want to flip it over. I'm not going to change the liquid yet. I just want to flip it over. And we're going to let that sit in there for about another 10 minutes. And as you can see, it's taken out quite a bit. We'll pour that back into the 2 cups so you can see it really well. So, yeah. Now, each time I do this, immediately afterwards I wash my hands. I probably should be wearing gloves on some of these, like when I'm dealing with the Bestine, and even with the calcium hydroxide. It dries out my skin. So I'll be back in about 10 minutes, maybe 15. For you, a couple seconds. Let's pour this liquid out. It's been plenty of time. It's actually been longer than I planned, but you know, that happens sometimes. You get sidetracked by other things. Let's see how bad it is. That is pretty dark. I have a piece of styrofoam here so you can see just how dark it is. Yeah, we pulled quite a bit out of that, but the stain is still there. Let me go pour this out, and we're going to set that up to do Mylar. You know what? Before I do that, I want to check the acidity of what I poured off. Now remember, it was 11 when I put it in there. And 11 is pretty low. And now it is a 5. So that took out quite a bit of acid. I ran out of puppy pads, so we're going to take some brawny paper towels. I like the brawnies when they go on sale. They're nice and thick. And will that be good enough? It might be. I actually want this one to go up a little higher to protect my keyboard. I'm not too worried about getting anything on the mat. And we're going to take this. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the Kollecting off the top. And set that off to dry somewhere. I'm going to put the piece of Mylar down on top of it. And we'll pick the whole thing up. Set that off to the side. Take the Kollecting off of that. Set it off to the side to dry. Now, why do I do this on just the Mylar without the Kollecting protection? Because it doesn't need it. The Mylar will prevent the paper, and of course we all know wet paper is weak paper, but the Mylar will keep it from separating, and that's one of the things I've discovered. Then I'm going to take some calcium hydroxide and betaine spray. I made it the same way I did the other, and I'm just going to spray it down, because this is just to get some of that, get some more of that out of there. Take another piece of Mylar, put it on top. And this will give us about a 1/32 inch of the spray between the two, or with the sheet, so the Mylar is actually held off of the paper for the most part, because the liquid is in between the Mylar and the paper. I'm going to let that sit for a while, and then I'll come back. Alright, let's squeegee this off. And I will go to the store a little bit later and pick up some more puppy pads. Alright, we're going to take that off. And take a paper towel and blot it a little bit. Take a piece of Kollecting. I've used this one before, but I don't think I've used it up yet. No, it's pretty smooth. Turn it over. Lift up the Mylar. Okay, I got to clean that Mylar. It ended up in the floor. It happens. Take this other piece of Kollecting I have laying over here and put it down. Get a piece of blotter paper, not too dirty on that side, not too bad on that side, pretty bad on this side, but that doesn't matter. And this is a new piece of blotter paper I cut, and this is going to go in the press. And we'll clean this up a little bit. Right, now when I went to put that in the press, I discovered that I already had something in the press, that I put it in there this morning. I had kind of forgotten about it. And what this is, for those of you that watched my Wednesday night show, my live stream, and if you didn't watch it, well, why not? It's on 8 o'clock Central. every Wednesday night. I had his Thor comic that had a bit of a spine roll problem. That's an understatement of the year. And I put it in my humidifier for 30 hours. It was in there for 30 hours. I took it out this morning and put it in my cold press for about 8 hours. Now it's still got the stain there, and I'm not worried about that. All I'm going to do is get the I wanted to get the spine roll out of it, which I think is going to come out pretty nice. So we're going to fold it over. Now I could stick that in a Mylar just like it is, but I'm not going to. I'm going to press it. But I'm not going to press it right now. And the reason I'm not going to press it right now is because I just put another comic in the press. So we're going to... I'm not going to worry about the Kollecting on it. I'm just going to go ahead and put this back over it to protect it, set it off to the side, and the next thing I put in the press will be this comic. Will I show it to you before Wednesday night? Absolutely not. If you want to see how it turns out, you gotta watch Wednesday night's live stream, Coffee with Chaos, 8 p.m. Central, every Wednesday night. Alright, let's see how it turned out. Still got that stain on it. I can't seem to get this out of there. I'm going to try something different with the next one. Now you may have noticed that I didn't put methyl cellulose on this one. And I want to compare them to the other one that I did, to one of the other ones I did, and see if I need to go ahead and do that. Because I know that betaine is will add okay, this is a little stiffer. Feels about the same. Yeah, so like I said, betaine can be used in place of methyl cellulose as far as helping the pages out. Have the word right on the tip of my tongue and I can't think of what it is. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't think I'm going to need to do anything with that. Put that one in here. Let's see. Yeah, just like that. I think that's right. Now I'm going to try something a little different with this next one to try to get the stain out. So pull another page. I'm going to work on this one next. Let me take this off. This doesn't have much of a stain, but I still want to try this on it. I'm just curious what it is. Curious as to if this will work or not. And what I'm going to do, we'll turn this light on. So let me stop the video for a second and turn the other light on. That's much better. I use this on my clothes and it works pretty good. So I want to put a little tiny bit on that stain and see if that'll help it. But we're going to try to open it up first, because I don't want to spray it. Get some on a cotton bud, dip it down in there. Just going to roll some on it. Turn it over. That might not be a good idea. That might not have been a good idea. We're going to go ahead and spray it down though. We'll let it sit for about 10 minutes. Then I'm going to spray it with calcium hydroxide and betaine. And that I should be able to get that off of there with that. We'll see how it works out. So I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Alright, I remembered that I'd bought some puppy pads. So I put one down to try to absorb some of the excess liquid. Shake this up real good. This is calcium hydroxide and betaine. Mixed the same way I did the other one. And we are not going to soak this like we did before. We're just going to do it on the Mylar, because I don't see a difference really in the way I did it with the Mylar and the way I did it with the with soaking it first, as far as the final outcome goes. I'm sure there is a difference. Put this on top of it, of course, and then we'll flip it over. Soak it down real good. You can already see some of the yellow coming off of it. And I'm going to let it sit for a while. Probably about 15-20 minutes. Alright, let's go ahead and squeegee this down a little bit. Definitely getting some yellow out. Flip it over and do it again. And spray it again. Do a second soak. And let it sit for a while. I don't think this stuff has worked, and I'll explain why I had my doubts right away as to if it was worth using. but I'm going to wait until after it dries to show you that. Right, let's do this again. I'm seeing a lot of yellow, especially right up in here. I'm going to do the same thing over again that I did twice before. And this time I'm going to squeegee a little bit on the paper itself. Now, in my Superman 14 video from Friday, someone asked me where I got the Mylar sheets. I put a link. And I will put a link in this video as well. That sheet has a bend in it, so I'm going to have to replace that eventually. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put a link in the description for the Mylar sheet, the betaine that I use, and calcium hydroxide, where I get all of that. So that'll help people out, I think. Okay, I thought I put this turn the camera on. Apparently I didn't. What I did was I squeegeed it down. I put a piece of Hollytex down. Well, actually, I squeegeed it down, pulled the Mylar sheet off, blotted it a little bit with some paper towels. Then I went ahead and painted it with my methylcellulose nanocellulose mixture. Put a piece of Hollytex over it, flipped it over, repeated the same thing with a little extra strength right there in the center. And the reason I did that, even though I didn't do it with the previous one, the reason I did it on this one was as soon as I put that stain remover soap on it, the paper immediately became weak, to the point where I thought I might have a major problem. Fortunately, it appeared to stay together. The stain, it did nothing for the stain whatsoever, but you never know on that stuff unless you try. So then I put another piece of, flipped it over, did the same thing, put another piece of Hollytex down. It has blotter paper on either side, and of course, now we are going to take it and put it in the press for a couple hours. Then I'll change the blotter paper and let it sit for another 4 or 5 hours. Then I'll take it out and show it to you. And we'll see how it turned out. Alright, let's see how it's turned out so far. I did change the blotter paper. Faded it a little bit more than what I expected it to. Not enough that I would want to use it again. But overall, not bad. I think using the Evapo-Rust works better though. But I'm going to leave it like that. And we'll get ready to start on another one. I don't have a whole lot more of these to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I can start on the cover. Taking these one page at a time. I was thinking about filling in these little gaps here at the corner, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. So, yeah, I'm going to take this off, put down the puppy pad, and get started on another one. So, yeah, I'll be back. With doing another wrap, but some things happened today and I had a little bit of computer trouble that I had to fix. So I never got a chance to do the third section. We'll get to it next week. In the meantime, hope you enjoyed it. That experiment I tried didn't work. Do not try to use the laundry stain remover. It weakened the paper so bad. I was afraid that that whole section was just going to come right off. Fortunately, I realized it, got it under control, and didn't lose that piece of paper. So I don't want to lose any of it. If the stain is still there, the stain is still there. I'm not going to worry about it too much.